Hello, everybody. Uh, Today we are going to discuss about the trending sectors. So we will be going through what would be the new trend sectors which will be booming in the future, and that's where we will be discussing. And we will be trying to focus on the renewable energy sector. So there are a lot of mega trends which are happening right now, which we need to focus on. So one aspect means I have listed down all the mega trends which are right now happening, and which is booming the stock prices, and this will kind of uh, increase to many folds in the future as well. So these sectors are EV, PSU banks, not PSU, public sector undertaking stocks or companies. So it need not be specifically banks, but most of the sector, public sector companies, and semiconductor business, the companies which are designing, uh, which are doing the manufacturing of semiconductors. As of now, there are no any specific place, but means we have this continuous series of discussing all the trends and analyzing all the sectors. So we will go through all these sectors in our future videos. So first, we will be discussing on renewable energy. So with regard to the mega trend, I can add structure stocks and consumer based stocks. So these are kind of evergreen sectors, these two, infrastructure and um, consumer based stocks. So yeah, so that's how means I just wanted to give you an overview with regard to this series, where we will be doing kind of series on each and every sector, and after that we will be slowly trying to find the multi baggers using that sector wise stocks. Okay, so going ahead, I will be discussing about the renewable energy sector. So let me just tell you the point by point what we will be discussing. So why we have to discuss the renewable energy sector? That's the first point. So the reason is that the demand of the power in the entire world and India means everywhere it's increasing in huge number. So we have a lot of details and reports. What would be the requirement for the future? And as you can see, the world demand is around 17.4 terawatts of electricity. So it's kind of highly one of the thing is still it's evergreen, and it requires a lot of things which we are doing right now to be changed. So how we are generating the electricity and all those process, world is trying to migrate to the renewable sector. So that's the reason we are discussing this sector. So as we know, the power is means kind of it became a basic necessity as how we eat food, how we means we require a home, and all those things which are must have. The electricity is one of them. So as you can see, that means we have the requirements all around the world. So what I will means we will be discussing is right now what we are doing and where we will be going with regard to the power generation sector. So we are currently means entire world is generating around, these numbers are not quite accurate, but the power sector will be growing at larger 5% CAGR. So uh, that's what we may estimate as per our uh, getting guidelines and all those. So from this, the entire world is moving to renewable sector. Right now we are generating the uh, electricity using the traditional methods like thermal plants, where we use coal and all those. So we slowly move to hydro sources, means using the hydropower, means using the water and all those, we are trying to generate the electricity. But there are pros and cons of each and everything. But first we will discuss, means what are the types of power generation plants, the different sources in India, and how what is the future looks like for the renewable energy. So there are different types of power generation plants, as you can see. Means how we generate the power using the different sources. So using fossil fuels, we generate the electricity, and as you can see, coal, lignite, gas, diesel. These are kind of fossil fuels. And non-fossil fuels are, means where we won't be using the petrol and natural resources which are available. Uh, on earth. So we will, renewable energy sources are hydro, means using water we will be generating electricity. Using wind we will be generating electricity. Solar is, as you know, using sunlight. And we have this biomass power. So it's basically the cow dung, cow manure, and all those methane gases, and those are kind of used for power generation. So same here. And we also have the nuclear power source. So that's still in kind of research and development. But if at all it gets big, this will be a kind of huge, and this will solve our entire energy need purpose problems. So let us discuss how the power generation works. So there are five parts to this. First is the raw material which is required to generate the power. So if at all we are doing, if we are trying to generate the solar energy. So one of the thing is that solar panels are used, and other parts are used. We require a land and sunlight. There is a battery thing, and all those, everything will be required as a raw material for that to generate the power. There will be uh, the raw materials will be there. So second is the EPC companies which are required, which works on the installation part and which works on the operation and maintenance part of those plants. Whatever the plants we will be creating, right, means like a solar plant or wind energy windmill plant, or no, or we will have the thermal power plant where we will be using the coal. So we require a EPC company who will be constructing that plant, and it will be operating that and also maintaining that. So that is the second part. And third part is that the IPP companies. So I am discussing all this is with regard to the, means our understanding and our beneficial things, means how we can identify the multi bagger. So that's the reason I have split it into the five part. So third part is IPP companies. So these are the companies which give the contracts to the EPC companies. EPC companies. So IPP companies are responsible for generating the power and selling it to the government, or the subsidiaries which are providing the electricity to your homes, our factories or companies. So IPP are independent power producers. So these are responsible for selling the power or electricity based on the unit price or something, whatever they discuss. So we have the long things where they will be doing the multiple operations in order to send that electricity to your home. So fourth point is transmission. So if at all there is generation source like a plant, so we will be having the transmission lines, which is kind of power lines and cable transmission, transformer grids and poles. All this kind of, means whatever the electricity generated from the plant, it will be transmitted to house or companies using these things. So these are the kind of companies we will be also discussing in future. But again, fifth is in-house transmission, means how we will be kind of obtaining that electricity within premises, houses, or in the company. So we require some wiring, we require the meter to monitor that. So we require a kind of certain grid box or something like that within the house. So these are kind of fifth part. And sixth is kind of where we will be consuming the electricity, and hence to run the machineries, to run the appliances and all those things. So these are all six parts generated where the power generation will happen and how the things will go into the uh, utilization. So this is how normal picture of the thermal plant or any other source of power plant you can say. So generating electricity, there is a transmission lines, transmission step down transformer, so that it will go to the customers. Okay, so I will discuss how the power generation right now split. So means how based on the sources. So as per the Google, we have this data where the coal is utilized for 36% of power generation. That's a huge. So 23% is natural gases. So you still see this, right? So this is around 61% of fossil fuels are used, and we see 15% hydroelectricity and 10% nuclear and 7% wind. So this is how the world power generation split is there. There is a significant portion of solar as well here, but I didn't find the source. But still, there will be a significant portion of solar and wind. So uh, about India, we have this kind of total 56.8% of fossil fuels and 41% of renewable energy sources is used to generate the power. So we will be having uh, we are currently means I don't know exact data, but oh my, let me just go to that slide. Yeah. Okay. There was a figure that means what would be the requirement. Yep, here. Yeah, so total power generation capacity is 416 gigawatts in 5 FY23, and renewable energy was contributing to 125 gigawatts, and hydro was contributing around 47 gigawatts. So these numbers have been changed, but all in all 500 gigawatts was, I think, roughly I remember it was uh, means total power generation capacity of India. So slowly we are moving because our power consumption needs are basically going high. We have a lot of population, so that will be going up anyhow. So we are slowly trying to migrate from non-fossil to fossil. So that's the reason we have to discuss the renewable energy. So you can see the NTPC is the largest company which generates at least 73 gigawatts of power. So we have to discuss this renewable energy in order to transition from our fossil fuels to renewable sector. So that's the reason we will be having a great demand of this sector. So whatever the stocks or companies which are operating in this sector will be the huge focus point until 2030, not only 2030 but for the future all along, um, for eternity. So we have to think about renewable energy is the future, and that's how the things will be go means move on as a feature. So I have listed down means different types of power generation plants and its cost analysis, and also what are the differences between them. So we will discuss uh, the two aspects only for renewable energy. One is solar and another is wind. So basically those two are in great focus. Hydro is also in focus, but still I think the cost effectiveness is much higher in solar and wind. So that's the reason I think we will be discussing only these two sectors, and this will be kind of blooming sector for the future. With regard to the solar, how solar power generation works is, means we have this kind of two ways. One way is the solar thermal plant. It uses the liquid to heat up and then generate the electricity. So it's not a straightforward process. It's kind of indirectly doing the same thing like what we are doing with solar photovoltaic plants. So for solar photovoltaic plants is that it will use the solar panels which are made up of silicon semiconductor materials such as silicon. Um, that those panels are used to absorb the light electricity and absorb the power from the sun and then transform it to the electricity. So solar energy whatever is generated, right? So what it all based on the means it has the different size panels and the raw material what the raw material they use. So slowly it will be means as we companies try to use more solar panels and all those things, it will evolve and the raw materials will change so that we can efficiently generate the more solar power and store it as energy. So this is where we how we do the solar plant electricity generation. So basically I have this listed on devices, how what is the devices which we require in order to generate the electricity from solar plant. So we require a solar panel, as we know. We require a charge controller in order to charge the battery, and we require a battery to store this energy which is obtained from the solar sun, and we require the inverter or UPS in order to convert those DC current to AC currents and transfer it to UPS. So these are multiple things which we require in CDC box and all those things. I'm just trying to drill down into the components what are required so that we can get more clarity on the companies which are trying to operate around this sector. As we discuss the points of how we do the power generation process, we will be discussing the companies around this as well. So yeah, so as we discuss about the solar energy process plants, we will be again similarly discussing the wind energy. So wind energy is kind of similar, somewhat similar. So we will be having kind of not somewhat similar, but some of the parts where we will be storing the energy in the battery and transforming using the inverter and all those things will be same. But only part is changes that the solar panels will be converted to the windmills, where they will be using that steel wind turbines, and there will be a kind of fiber. I mean, these are all products which are required for the uh, windmill to operate. So iron box, copper, aluminium, so rotor blades and all. These are all the parts which are required. So we have just those things listed down over there. So these are the basically I just got the overview of both the things, how the things operate for wind energy as well. So moving into the cost analysis, I have done some research around that. So electricity conversion rate for the solar panel is higher than the wind energy, and also solar energy is cheap compared to the wind energy for installation. So that's what I know we require a huge land, but still the solar energy is kind of cheap compared to the wind energy sector. So I just got this figure from one of the companies, Sterling and Wilson. It's a solar-based EPC company. So EPC company is what I told, right? So if at all you go to the second step here, this these companies. So I got this figure from the EPC companies which are who are working on the construction of solar power plants. So they got the order from NTPC, who is the largest producer right now in the India with regard to the megawatt numbers. So they got the huge order from NTPC. So the pricing was around means for construction and all those things 4.2 crore per megawatt, and means for Sterling and Wilson is this is the average price, and as per this order calculation it was around 5.12 crore per megawatt, and means this includes 3 years operation and maintenance. So that's what I got the calculation from. So same goes with the wind energy. We require 4 to 5 crore for the installation and to generate the 1 megawatt electricity. So wind power plants require nearly double the cost of maintenance compared to solar power plant. So that's one of the key point you should be remembering. So still wind are more prevalent, their cost effectiveness is increasing, and so there will be more change in the sector as well. So we can't say that only solar will be kind of means very cost effective. Slowly maybe there may be changes, but still both are kind of complementing each other. Those so both are required in order to move on the renewable energy sector. So we project the cost of the wind and solar will be between 2.1 and 1. Yep. So as you can see, the power project cost is also there per kilowatt. So as you can see, for solar it's 1.9 to 2.3, but for this wind it's 2.3 to 2.6. So slowly we will be moving, and we will be kind of there will be a lot of reductions and all those things, and slowly there will be an improved efficiency and cost as well with regard to these sources. These are the stats which we have with the future projections, how the each sector will grow. There are a lot of discussions around that. The wind energy will also grow like uh, with huge numbers, and there are a lot of roadmap ambitions with regard to the different countries where they are discussing and moving on to the renewable energy. So there are a lot of things which are going on. Thing of the wind sector, wind power plants is that means it is kind of not using a lot of space, and I don't know, but there are some challenges with regard to the both the sectors, right? So for windmill, there should be a kind of some elevation or something to get the good frequency of air circulation and all those things in order to rotate the blades and all those. So there might be only some areas which can generate that. And so with respect to the solar, but we know as solar sun is kind of everywhere in some of the countries. There are we don't see the sun sign. So there are some more challenges in both the sectors. But still, I think the growth will be kind of huge in both the sectors. So same goes with the solar. We have a lot of future projections with respect to the solar, and these projections will be kind of moving around, means moving this renewable sector hugely, and everybody is kind of targeting to generate more and more electricity using these renewable energies. So you can think this is a very blooming sector for each and every country. Okay. Yeah. So I have just listed down some of the companies which are kind of operating in each industry. So these are the solar energy companies: Adani Green, Tata Power, JSW, Suzlon, SJVN, Vare Renewables. JP Power is kind of has some interest in solar power. Right now they are only operating in the thermal and hydro. And KPI Energy also is on solar power generation. Borosil Renewables, Urja. So these are kind of companies. I have just listed down the energy EPC companies specifically. So I have found out the Sterling and Wilson is there, Tata Power is there. There are some solar energy EPC companies as well, but I couldn't find much details for that. So the specific EPC companies I was talking about. So for solar end-to-end companies, we know we have a lot of companies here. So JP Power, Urja Global, Adani Green, and solar panel manufacturing is there. So that is also a huge booming sector. So there is one as well here, that is Sorana Solar. That's a very small um, uh, market capitalization is very small for this company. It's around 200-300 crores. But still, we are looking for the multi-baggers. In order to find the multi-bagger, you have to look into the small cap or micro cap companies, and you have to just try to analyze them oftenly, and within try to analyze them for the year or 1.5 year. Then only try to invest in them. Don't go and blindly invest into those companies. So we have wind energy, Suzlon energy, power, inox wind, inox. A lot of inox companies are related to the wind energy, and we have Suzlon energy as well. So these are the some of the stocks, and we have power generation and distribution companies which are called IPP companies, independent power producers. So these are some of the companies here. And NTPC is the biggest one, and Adani Energy is also kind of biggest one. Tata Power. These are kind of huge companies. Power Grid. Uh, then comes the smart meter companies. We have the Genus Power Infrastructure. Adani Energy is also there in smart meter, and HPL Electric. These are the two stocks which are kind of blooming further with respect to the smart meters. Maybe in future, whenever there are some kind of schemes government announces with regard to the solar sector, uh, where they are trying to target the one crore households with solar panels and all those things. So these these two meter companies will be kind of in huge demand, and also the solar panel companies also will be in a huge demand. So that's what the sector analysis looks like. So there are a lot of projections of growth and all those. I couldn't find the exact numbers properly, but still I will, I mean, I can attach this document and um, provide in my YouTube channel. So maybe we can discuss going forward all the other stocks as well. Means I will be discussing majorly Sterling and Wilson in our next video, which is one of the EPC solar EPC companies, and which is kind of Reliance is heavily invested in this. So we will discuss all those in future. So that's all from my side with regard to the sector analysis. This is the renewable energy discussion. So please let me know if at all you feel anything, means any suggestions or guidance with regard to the any improvements which are required from my side. Overall, this was the analysis for the renewable sector, and hope you have a